And we are live. All right, folks. Welcome to another live stream. I'm Palm Beaches Paul, your local realtor and guide to South Florida living. And happy Wednesday evening. So, playing a little music. We'll let the music play out for just a second. Get the notifications going out to those of you who ring that bell. Be sure when you subscribe to click that little bell because you will get notified when I do things like this, when I go live. And you can hop on our live stream. And I do have a guest. So I won't be talking to myself tonight. I have a fellow realtor, fellow YouTuber who's lives on the West Coast here of Florida. So he's going to be joining us tonight, and we're going to be talking a little bit of real estate, what's going on in the market, some parts Florida, some parts just the country as a whole. And so we'll just wait a few seconds. So as always, if you guys, let me see, where's it at? Here we go. Oh, we don't need that. I already know that. So, all right, got my information. As always, don't be shy. If you have a question, leave a question or tell me where you know what? Here's an easy one. You don't have to ask a question. Where are you watching from? That's a good one. I learned that from my buddy in Orlando. So, where are you watching from? Just chime in where you're watching from, and that's good enough for me. You don't have to ask a question. So, let's see. And we got Jelani. I know where Jelani's from. Yes, Mr. McLean. Yes, he is from West Palm Beach. Good evening. Thanks. Thank you, buddy. What's West Palm Beach doing? I was in West Palm Beach today. I was on 45th Street. Not 45th, Flagler. I was shooting a new video coming out for Sunday, and I was up there on Flagler where all those condos are. So, all right, guys. Well, let me get rid of the music. Let me go back here, media assets, and we can turn that off. And welcome to a live stream. So, all right, guys, we got a lot to talk about. Thanks for coming and spending your evening here with me and my guest. We're going to talk about some things. We're going to talk about the real estate market, as always, as that's what we do here. What's going on? The market is definitely changing day to day. I don't know what it's like in your area, but I know here in South Florida, inventory is rising. So we will be talking about that. And we're also going to talk about a couple other things in the real estate market. But let me bring on my buddy, Adam, here. Let me get him added to the stage. And hello, sir.
Hey, there I am. What's up, Paul? How are you?
What's up, buddy? So my buddy Adam here, we know each other through real estate groups and other YouTubers. And he when I say welcome to paradise, he really lived in paradise, y'all, because he actually came all the way from Hawaii. So he was out there way west and maybe east, I guess. West. It's far west from here. So and now he's back in what's where are you in Sarasota?
Yeah, so now I'm in Lakewood Ranch. It's right on the border of Sarasota. Actually, part of my community is in Sarasota, but they're kind of all in one. Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch.
Gotcha. Well, cool. Well, thanks for coming on, bud. We're having anyone watches my show knows it's kind of relaxed. We just try to deliver the news and have a little fun. We got a couple comments. Let's go. So we had Jelani. We've got, and here we go. Afi, hi. Hola. She's another local. Hi, welcome. She's been following me for a while, and she's here in I think out in the Lantana area. Let's see, from Summit Pines. Okay, there you go. He's getting more specific. And we've got checking in. We've got Edward Banks from Connecticut. It's been warm up in the Northeast from right here. They're having like a real heat wave up there, and a lot of rain. Oh my goodness. Hold on. You're gonna like this one. Look, a 3-hour tour. It's Thurston Howell III. Where's Lovey? We got Thurston coming into us from Aventura. All right. So before we get started, you guys know it's I like to be chill about it. So I'm going to show you guys. I've got my glass. This is a Nobo glass right here. That's the brewery they're in Boynton Beach, local brewery. But I'm drinking one of those double IPAs that I got from Selfish when I did my Fort Pierce video. Mr. Adam, what are you drinking? I know you're a bourbon drinker.
I am drinking bourbon is my beverage of choice. I'm drinking High West bourbon.
Nice. There you go.
Got about 50, 60 bottles in my collection now.
Cheers. Yeah, he is a bourbon connoisseur. So, all right, McGrainer, evening. Thank you for popping on. So we got a couple of people who come in. I appreciate you guys. So thanks a lot. So all of you that are maybe new or just seeing for the first time, if you subscribe and click the bell, then you'll get notified every time I go live. So, all right, cheers.
Salute.
Before we get into it, how's the real estate market over on your area? What's going on the West Coast?
I'm licensed now for 13 years, and this is the roughest by far. I think we're going to be talking about this market a year from now, and I am very concerned that my market will be way worse before it gets better.
You and I both. So the stories out there. I did a video today about condo buyouts, and they think that we'll be seeing the buyouts happening for the next 5 to 10 years, which is where the developers are buying the old condos and making them high-end luxury condos, which is great for the people that can afford those, but it's not great for the people. I mean, they're getting a huge buyout, but then where do they go from there? I guess, either something local or they move out of state or whatever. But the market, it's definitely challenging. I got properties that are, I mean, it's funny because I have one condo that went under contract in 30 days and it's a condo. So I was blessed. And that's matter of fact, I just heard some good news today on that. So it was great to hear from the buyer's agent and the lender and all that. But other condos have been sitting for 6 months that I've been trying to sell. Yep. And people are just not budging on them. They're like, we'll wait, see that price drops and stuff. So, and rightfully so, because the inventory keeps going up. And that's the main subject we're going to talk about tonight, guys, is the inventory. So, it is definitely a buyer's market. If y'all have been watching my videos for a while, and Adam, you've seen it and talked about it, the inventory is increasing a lot. And so much so that in Miami, I say Dade County, but Miami, for those that don't know Dade County, Miami Beach and that area down there, I think they're now sitting at like 13 months of inventory in condos. And they combine, just so y'all understand, the way the MLS works is they combine condos and townhomes together. So it's not just condos, it's townhomes and condos, and then single family homes is their separate thing on their side. And I don't know if townhomes and villas are included in that as well, or if villas are included in the single family. I've never actually asked that question. Funny enough, I've never seen it. It says townhomes and then it says condos and townhomes, but single family homes by itself. But anyway, there's like 13 months of inventory. We're like 11 in Palm Beach County and 12. What are the numbers over on your side?
Yeah, we're like, so I guess for reference point, I will talk about just Manatee County, because I'm in Lakewood Ranch, which technically is in 2 different counties, Sarasota and Manatee. So I think just for ease of conversation, I'll just stick with Manatee, which is the largest county. We're about 8 months. And I think one of our challenges here, if you don't know anything about Lakewood Ranch, it's been the #1 multi-generational community in the country for 7 years in a row. And there's pluses and there's minuses. So there's about 45 different neighborhoods within Lakewood Ranch. And I want to say there's probably close to 15 or 20 still under construction. Now, some of those are 90% done, but I'd say 10 to 12 are still brand new under construction.
Wow.
So as you can imagine, those home builders still have to build.
Yeah.
Right. They're not stopping building because it slowed down. So there's going to be, I believe, like an excess of, on top of high inventory, like these move-in ready homes that are just brand new done.
I haven't looked at new construction in a while with this going on. I just haven't had any buyers look at it, and I haven't done any videos on new construction. So let me ask you, in a place like that, are you seeing the sellers of the developers of those new homes, are they giving away huge incentives to get people in them?
It was interesting. I did a video about this the other day too. So they're giving, we've seen up to $75,000 for closing costs, or we saw one with a free pool, rate buy down, so like 3.25%. But my wife and I saw a couple of weeks ago is something that I have not seen, and you're in the business just as long as I have, because there's always been, in my experience, you never get a deal on the price. Like, even if you go in with the real estate agent, like, I'm not negotiating on the price.
Oh yeah, that's a myth. Their prices are built into their marketing budget, and whether they use a realtor or not.
Correct.
People are like, if I don't use a realtor, I get a deal. If it's a small developer, yes, I've heard that some developers they may negotiate. But if you're looking at the big brands, Pulte, GL, their price is set, and they're matter of fact, and it's funny. Yeah, and they'll sit there and go, "Oh, the prices just went up." It's like, what?
I got an email from Pulte today. There's a new Del Webb, and the email was all the discounted prices, which I've just not seen.
Interesting. So they're now finally realizing that you can't. Well, look, if they're not buyers, if it's sitting there and they need to satisfy their investors, right? I mean,
they're all competing. Like, I mean, this area is a lot of new construction, so it's resale versus new construction. They're all competing.
Yeah.
And you know, resale homeowners can't compete. A homeowner can't offer $75,000 toward closing costs.
No, no. I mean, they can offer credits, but not that
Yeah,
much.
but not that
Right.
much.
So they just have to. So what they have to beat them on price and somehow and be
Beat
like,
them on price, but you
be like,
know,
well, it's not new, but here's the price. But it's yes, it's pre-owned, but we did a lot of updates to it. And again, you can find a good deal if you got a house with a new roof. And they did a
for
lot of
sure.
remodeling a few years ago, which a lot of people did during COVID, which is only
Yeah,
5 years ago. So a lot of homes had all those. They took those refis out and remodeled their homes and did
yep,
new stuff and added a pool and new kitchen. So a lot of homes are in great shape. Those homes. The thing is, a lot of those homes aren't hitting the market because those people have those homes at that low interest rate and they don't want to take that
yep,
and go buy at 7%. So the nice homes, that's what we're waiting for. I've tried to explain this to someone the other day. The really nice homes that I think people really said, hey, we're stuck and we're not doing anything. Let's add on a wing to the house. Hey, let's add on a pool or whatever they could do. Or let's remodel the whole kitchen and bathroom and we can refine it. And they did. But now
yep,
they're living in those homes and they don't want to sell them because to sell that is beautiful. And then to go out and of course they didn't want to do it the past few years because the market was crazy. And they were like, well, I paid this for my house. I'm going to go and pay this much and get a house that I have to remodel all over again. I'm not living through all that, right? So
yep,
no one wants to. And so they're holding on to those homes. And so maybe a lot of those homes aren't hitting the market. So what we're seeing is the people that have to sell because for one reason or another, and they might not always be what I call the class A homes, there might be someone nice features to it. But I don't know. That's just because I've gone and looked at homes with buyers and, it's kind of like they're still very dated. A lot of them were very dated.
yeah.
So even,
I listed this year, listed and expired two relatively new homes, 3 years old or less, and they expired because
wow.
theoretically and gorgeous, stunningly gorgeous, both of them. One was a townhome, one was a single family home, both stunningly gorgeous, but
Wow.
you can buy
Yeah.
new construction now, almost at the same. So you know you got a move-in ready home, brand new, nobody's ever lived in. You might
And
buy
it's
it.
funny because I've been saying in my video, I mean, I've said to people, now's a great time to buy because you can really get a deal.
Yep.
But I think a lot of people are just still trying to wait to see how hard the market's going to get hit and see how much more prices will come down. And, and I don't blame them. And it's a hard argument. I will say, if you wait too long, like
Yep.
time in the market, you have to be really good at it because if you wait too long and then everyone else, because I know here's what's going to happen if it does happen. If they drop the interest rates in the fourth quarter this year, if they drop to a reasonable drop, and everyone's going to see that, and they come out of the floodgates buying homes,
Yeah. I agree.
every single seller is going to go, I had 50 people come through my open house, change it. I want you to up the price 20,000 or 10,000 or whatever. Or they're going to get multiple offers and then it's going to be a bidding war. And then people are going to be right back to the same 2020 scenario, 2021, which was where they're getting outbid and prices were ridiculous because supply and demand is always going to happen and stuff. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that it's a fine trying to balance it. I think right now, I advise buyers if they're ready and they're comfortable and they can buy, you can go out
Yeah.
and kind of work a deal in your favor. And I mean, I've seen some people make some really low offers, and sellers are like, "Well, that's not what we want, but we'll counter," and it's still a lot better than what they thought they would get a
Yeah.
counter on,
For sure.
right? Or they'll throw in some huge incentives to like, "Hey, we'll give you this closing cost credit." Just to get, especially on the condo side, the condos, man, you could almost write your own ticket. I mean, with some buildings. There are some buildings that are really, I've always said this to people, it's not every condo in South Florida is bad. There are a lot of buildings that were smart. They did their repairs, they did their maintenance, and they kept their building and their reserves in good shape. And so they know that they have a good product and they don't have to give it away. But it might still be hard for them to sell just because they're surrounded by so many buildings that are dropping the price and,
Yeah.
like a fire sale, some people. But well, let's get into the housing market number. So there's about the one we're going to talk about, y'all, is like how many the inventory. There's 75 markets that out of 200, I think there's 75 markets that are back to pre-pandemic levels of homes. You can think about that going back, and we all know what happened back in 2020 and 2021. So so we're it's crazy, but I'm going to share the screen here, put this up so you guys can see this. Oops. Let me go back first. I got to share. So where's my my present button? I always forget how to do this, Adam. Share.
Yeah. Hit the present. For the
Yeah,
longest time,
here we go.
I was like, "Where's the share button?" Oh, it's present now.
There it is. All right, so you guys can see that. So it's kind of hard for everyone else to see that. It's really small print, folks, and I'm sorry. But let me go to the top, and I'll just kind of let you guys know. So 75 major housing markets where inventories bounce back. So among the nation's 200 largest housing markets, these 75 metro areas now have active inventory at or above 2019 pre-pandemic levels. And so if we come down here and look, it says during the pandemic housing boom from summer of 2020 to spring 2022, the number of active homes for sale in most housing markets plummeted as home buyer demand quickly absorbed almost everything that came up for sale. Y'all remember that? As soon as it hit the market, oh, wait, what happened to the open house? Oh, we had 7 offers already. It's already sold. It was insane. And sellers had the ultimate power, and they did. They would get whatever they want over asking. Anything. People were waiving appraisal contingencies and all sorts of craziness. Even I never had this down here, but up north, I know my friends have. People were waiving their inspections and stuff. So, but fast forward, as we all waiting for it, to the current housing market, and places where active inventory has rebounded to 2019 levels due to strained affordability suppressing buyer demand are now the very places where home buyers have gained the most power. So at the end of May 2025, the national active housing inventory for sale was still negative 12% below May 2019 levels. However, more and more regional markets are surpassing that threshold. So the list is growing. So they started looking at this back in January 2025. 41 of the 200 housing markets were back above pre-pandemic. Jumped to March, 58 of those 200. And if you go here and look at May, 75 of the 200 markets are above pre-pandemic inventory levels, based on from what Resi Club was saying. So, and I'm gonna read these. I know y'all can't see these numbers, but we'll look at this in a minute, because this chart is absolutely mind-blowing when you see some of these numbers. But it just kind of says many of the softest housing markets where home buyers have gained leverage are local in the Gulf Coast and Mountain West regions. These areas were among the nation's top pandemic boom towns, having experienced significant home price growth during the pandemic housing boom, which stretched housing fundamentals far beyond local income levels. When pandemic fueled domestic migration slowed and the mortgage rates spiked, markets like Cape Coral, Florida, and San Antonio, Texas, faced challenges as they had to rely on local income to sustain frothy home prices. That's no different than what we're doing with here in South Florida. Yep. But the home prices here went way high, and the locals were like, a lot of people down here in the hospitality, they're not making $100,000 a year unless they're the upper management. So a lot of locals were very unhappy with the prices. The housing market softening in these areas was further accelerated by the abundance of new home supply in the pipeline across the Sun Belt. Builders in these regions are often willing to reduce net effect prices or make other affordability adjustments to maintain sales. And these adjustments in the new construction market also create a cooling effect on the resale market, as some buyers who might have opted for an existing home shift their focus to new homes where deals are still available, which is we just talked about. In contrast, many Northeast, and this is our friend Jackie, many Northeast and Midwest markets were less resilient on pandemic migration and have less new home construction in progress, with lower exposure to that demand shock. Active inventory in the Midwest and Northeast regions has remained relatively tight, keeping the average the advantage in the hands of the sellers. And so I know that I had Jackie on, and we were talking about this, and they're getting multiple offers, and deals are like just selling overnight, and bid wars on their properties up there in New Jersey. Yeah. So places like that in those certain areas are really still crushing it. But it's these numbers, and again, folks, I know it's small, and if I knew how to make it larger, I don't know. Does this? I don't even think this works if I do this. Nope, I just messed up. All right, I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to read it to you. So, so I'm way down here at the bottom, and I know you can't see it, but I'll move here. It says Miami, Fort Lauderdale. So the dates on this go from May 2017 to May 2025, and these numbers are crazy. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. The dogs are going nuts. And hold on one second. You mute. Sorry about that. My dogs are like barking at the neighbors. All right. So Miami, Fort Lauderdale. So May 2017, 49,506 homes on the market. This is between Miami all the way up to West Palm Beach. Then you go up to 2018, and it's 47,080. Then 18, 19, you jump to 2020, right? We all know what happened then. 43,837. Watch what happens in 2021. 21,800 homes. 2022, 14,773. It just kept cut. They were gone. There's no inventory. It's just absolutely insane. And then it started to creep back up. It went up to 2024, 2023, 23,000. And then you can see here in 2024, and I apologize, guys, but my dogs are barking and no one's here to put them upstairs. And then we're back up. Now, here's where we're at. Here we are in 2025 of May, and we're at 51,901, which is just, that's just insane. You know, the number available. If that doesn't tell you all that it's a buyer's market, I don't know what does, because it's the inventory's out there. I mean, I know the interest rates are still high, but I'm just saying there's product there. You know, if you can get some concessions or something, maybe you can make the numbers work. But there's a lot of homes for sale. And looking at Adam, which one did I say was yours again?
We're Sarasota, Bradenton, Northport.
Bradenton's no, that's not it. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Gainesville, Jacksonville.
Yeah, a little.
Hold on, it was down here a little bit. Let me see.
Up a little higher for sure.
Sorry, guys, it's so tiny. Let me see. There's Florida. There's Gainesville, Jacksonville, Port St. Lucie, Northport, Bradenton, Sarasota.
Yeah,
all right. So if you look at Adams, your market back in 2017 had 7,789 number of homes, right? And it just kind of went up 7,723, 7,985, 6,499, and then bam, 1,415 homes available.
Oh,
it's just huge drop. But then it was 2014. But now look at it; it's 10,870. So I mean, way more than what you had back in 2017.
Yeah, and that I'm not even sure if that number includes new construction, but even still, it's a tremendous amount for this area.
Yeah. Just it's just a shocking number of homes available. So you know, and this is what the market's been doing. This is what I've been talking about. It's what I think everyone's been talking about. We've been just kind of watching this, where these homes, there's more and more properties available. They're sitting longer. There's more choices. Buyers are. A realtor said it to me the other day. He goes, you know, they come in and they look, and then they walk out. They don't really say anything. They don't do much, and we don't hear from them for a week or two. And that's because they have so many options to look at. They're not worried that the house is going anywhere.
Yeah.
Where before it was like, you know, hey, we want to go look at this house. Oh, I can't. Oh no. Okay. We'll get another realtors. We have to see it today. Like, we need to go see it now. It's like, it's 8:00 at night. I just got home. Yeah, no, sorry. We need to see it or it's going to be gone. It's like, thank God those days are over with.
I think those days are long gone.
Yeah. You know what? Even if they weren't, I don't think I'm not running back out at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I did my time. I'll leave that. I'm not doing that anymore. So, I mean, it's like getting home at 10 o'clock just is crazy. And then doing a contract, you're up till midnight, and then no one's looking at it till 7 in the morning anyway.
Yep.
Except back then they might be, because, you know, we got to get them the offer, got to get it in.
Got to get them in.
So lots of inventory out there. And let me see what else. I'll just go back to the rest of that. And I think it just kind of shows you the active housing inventory for sale compared to pre-pandemic levels. The metro shift between 2019 and 2025. So it just shows metro size, shows all the numbers of the properties and where it changes in different markets. Says, generally speaking, housing markets where inventory, i.e. active listings, has returned to pre-pandemic levels have experienced a softer, weaker home price growth or outright declines over the past 36 months. Conversely, housing markets where the inventory remains far below pre-pandemic levels, generally speaking, experience more resilient home price growth over the past 36 months. Well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. If there's not a lot of product, you have a lot of people looking to buy it. And then just says, among the nation's 200 largest housing markets, these 32 have the lowest active inventory levels. So, and if you look on here, I think like here's PA, New Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey. They're sitting with like 2,000. So homes. So they're still doing strong up there. And it's like everyone I talk to says that those properties up there do really well and go pretty quick. So, all right, let me stop sharing and go back. All right. So what do you guys in the audience think? Have you seen an increase in homes? Have you seen a lot of open house signs in your area? I know here I'm seeing a bunch. If you go out I'm doing an open house this Saturday. Adam, are you seeing a lot of open house signs like before there wasn't any and now they're everywhere?
You know, I'm not seeing as many as you would think, because my gut is telling me we've done a ton of them with nobody coming in.
Yeah.
And my guess is that, we're great at marketing, you know that about us. And if we can't get people to come in, my guess is that the 10,000 other real estate agents in our area are probably going through the same thing. Probably not everybody, but my gut is telling me that a lot of them have just stopped,
Yeah.
not doing
Yeah.
them for the sake of just doing them, instead of just wasting 3 hours sitting at a house where nobody's going to come. So I'm not seeing as many as I thought I would see, because there's a lot of houses obviously for sale.
Yeah.
But I have not seen like a significant jump that you would think you would see.
I was driving around today and saw open house signs, on a Wednesday. Right,
On
today's
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, and there's people. I saw some open house signs. I mean, they're just like every day. It seems like some are anytime trying to be different than doing it on the weekend. So I see a ton of open house over here. I don't know if they're working or not. I mean, I've talked to some agents. And they had people come through and they got the house sold. So I guess if it's the right house, if it's the right house.
Yeah.
Let me see what he says. She says, I've seen a few in Manalapan and Hypoluxo. Yeah. So she's over by Manalapan and Hypoluxo Island.
Okay.
And to give reference, her neighbors were people like Billy Joel. Yeah, he lived in Hypoluxo Island in Manalapan over there when he had some properties and sold them. But yes, they have, it's waterfront, very exclusive. Manalapan has I think there's a house for sale over there for 68 million or something like that. Wow. Yeah, just need one of those. Just need one, Adam. Just one. Someone watching. You want Paul to help you buy a multi-million-dollar house one time? Come on, change your guy's life.
All it takes. One of the most expensive houses to ever get listed for sale in this area. You just got listed, I think, for like 35 million. Yeah, just need one.
Yeah, just insane. But it's pretty over there. So very nice area. All right.
Got to see. By the way, got to see a lot of those houses on Maui. Broker opens at a $30 million house.
Oh yeah, crazy. All right. So another thing that we're starting to see in the real estate market is, obviously there's a lot of inventory. The days of getting over asking price offers, like we just said, our friend up in the Northeast is, but a lot of homes, they're not getting those over ask price offers. Most of them are selling below asking price. And so this Redfin report, and let me go back and I'll share that. We'll talk about that. So it was great. I remember the days when you would price it and people come in, will pay over asking. Yep. And it was great. It's great for the sellers. I mean, it wasn't as much fun. I mean, it was a little crazy. I mean, sure, for our job, it was like, oh, that was easy. Got that sold. I mean, not going to lie, it was pretty easy for us. If you had the product, people were buying it, and it was going pretty quick. And I know that's where people are like, yeah, you realtors didn't have to work. You just basically did nothing. And look, the market at that point, it was like having the key to the candy shop or whatever, right? Where it's like it's a little bit easy. We still had to do some work, but you had to compete to get the listings. But once you had the listing, the product sold pretty quickly. Now you're working. Now I called every realtor that looked at my one condo in up north. I called every single realtor that came and looked at it and told them about a price correction.
You have to do.
And said, do you have any new people involved that might want to look in this area? Any new buyers that are thinking about it? So so you just have to. It's sales, baby. It's always been. I've always equated real estate as sales. It's a numbers game. That's all it is. Yeah. And so just like me making these videos and working with people, you touch enough people, eventually you're going to get some business from it. If you're not a complete idiot, and I don't think I am, at least I hope not. But I think you'll be okay. So, all right. So we're going to go back. And so let me show you this report that we saw. And here we go. So, so just 28% of homes are selling above asking price, the lowest springtime level since 2020. So pending home sales are down 1% year over year, while new listings are still rising, giving buyers negotiating power. Just 28% of U.S. homes are selling above asking price, down from 32% a year earlier. That's the lowest level for this time of year since 2020, when the start of the pandemic ground the housing market to a halt. So that's one signal of the shift towards a buyer's market in much of the country. For the sake of comparison, more than 53% of homes sold above list price during this period in 2022, when the housing market was heavily favoring sellers. The share of homes selling above asking price has fallen year over year in all but 5 of the most populous U.S. metro areas. San Jose, Anaheim, and Oakland saw the biggest declines, though more than half the homes are still selling above asking price in San Jose and Oakland. It's always expensive out there, isn't it?
Very expensive. Yeah.
Here's some other data points illustrated tilt in buyers' favor and the slower than usual spring market. Pending U.S. home sales fell 1.1% year over year to their lowest level for this time of year in our records. Just over 1/3 of homes went under contract within 2 weeks, also the lowest level for this time since 2020. And there's been a big gap between median list price and median sales price for the last several weeks. The median sales price was $397, a $28,950 discount from the median list price of roughly $425,950. For comparison, the median sales price was typically much higher than the median list price. I read that. The median sales price was much higher than the median list price when the market was favoring sellers in 2021, 2022. So everything's it's opposite world, folks.
Yep.
It's like, here's unhappy face 2021. Boo. Now here's 2025. Yay. You guys got the power. You can call the shots. So, again, all of this is just everything, all these reports, it's all just telling you, look, it is a buyer's market. Not everywhere, but in our places and a lot of the places around the country, it is, you can call it a balanced market. In some places, it's definitely a buyer's market. When you have 11 months of inventory on a product, that is definitely a buyer's market. You hold the cards there. 6 to 7 months, it's a little bit more of a balanced market. So, there's little work to go back and forth. But when you start getting to where if we get to where there's 8, 9 months of inventory in single family homes, good Lord. I mean,
we're working toward that.
Do you think we'll hit that?
In our area for sure.
Wow. Yeah, that's insane.
It's trouble.
That's great for the buyers, not so good for the sellers. So I don't know if sellers are, and I've heard people say, I don't know why you're holding out to sell. You might want to get it and unload it now before it gets worse.
Those interest rates.
Yeah. Let me see. It's just prospective home buyers. I hate it when it does this. It jumps on me because there's an ad. Or sidelined. Sidelined with widespread economic uncertainty and high housing costs. Median monthly housing payments is just $29 shy of its record high, with mortgage rates near 7% and sales prices up 1.6% year over year. So yeah, I mean, it's, lots of inventory. No shock that people are not getting asking price on their home because people are coming in and wanting a discount. People want to get a bargain. Sure. Let's see. All right, thank you.
I just pulled up my stats real quick, and in Sarasota, it's 7 months of inventory on single-family homes, and in Manatee County, it's 5.2 months and rising.
7%. So that's definitely buyer's market.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Getting there, the early stages of it. Waiting on 2008-20 inventory levels, 9% unemployment rates. Well,
yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. The one thing that I think people don't realize is that in 2008, there was no equity in these homes, right? Like, people are underwater. Yep. A lot of people have equity in their homes, right? They bought them they bought them in 2016. They bought them in 2015. Maybe not the people who bought in 2020. I mean, even those privates, they said homes are still going up in value, which always blows my mind. But at the height of the market, it's softening, but they still have equity in their homes. So if someone had to sell, they could sell and still pay off their mortgage for the most part and walk away with some profit. They might not kill it, but some people out there would absolutely crush it, even with the market here. I mean, I've talked to someone who they bought a house for $87,500 and developers came in and bought it for $600,000. I mean, that's just, and that wasn't over 50 years. So it was like maybe a 15 year, if that. So, I mean, and they paid cash. So it's easy for him.
Yeah.
But, but I mean, I know a lot of people still compare it and they'll say, we're waiting to see the crash in there. But I haven't seen it. I've seen, I've gone and looked at some properties with some buyers, and we're getting the agents reaching back out to us and going, hey, definitely the follow through, like I was doing. That is, you can tell the agents that are working hard. They're like, hey, did your buyer like it? Is there anything we do? Like, can we throw us an offer? Like, what do they want? Let's see if we can make something happen.
Yeah,
We're
gotta ask those questions. Those are the good agents. Those are the ones who were in business before things were super easy in 2020, 2021.
Yeah. So they're, I'm making calls. They're making calls. They're calling back. We're seeing a lot of that. I saw a really interesting one. I spoke about it in my last week. There's a developer here in Fort Pierce, actually, where I just did a video where he's offering people to, I guess, however they do it through contract, give him their condo, right? He'll take the condo and deal with the condo as a down payment on one of his $2.5 million homes that he has. So trying to get them out of that. It's creative.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people are getting creative with trying to do it. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting to see that guy. And then I saw him on the news. So I don't know how that works, but I thought it was pretty neat. So have you seen any creative selling, anything really?
I have not seen. I'm surprised. I mean, that is creative, and I know there's all sorts of legal creative ways that you can maneuver stuff. I have not seen that yet. It doesn't mean that it's not happening. I'm going to gather, our area was devastated by the hurricanes last year, so I know that there are some homes that are in a lot of trouble, either like tear downs or need to be gutted. I'm sure they're trying to do something similar, something creative.
Yeah. Oh man, I was just going to ask you. I know. So I wonder if we'll start to see home sellers doing. Just getting creative. Like, hey, buy this house, and we'll give you a trip on a cruise. We'll throw in a cruise or something. Like, buy our house, we'll pay for a cruise or something.
Yeah, you can do you have to do something to compete. Like I said, especially in this area where new builders are offering just ridiculous incentives that resale buyers can't. Like, I can't throw in my pool for free. I have to have a pool already. And if I don't have a pool, I can't afford to give you $150,000 so you can put in a pool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember the open houses. Come to this house and get a pizza or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
the signs that people are putting up. So, a lot of homes are just they're not getting the asking price. So, and I'll say that if you are thinking of selling, wherever you're looking, whether you talk to me down here or wherever you are in watching this, make sure you listen to your realtor if they're good. Get their have them run comps, but be smart about pricing your house. Do not try to sell your house like you did 4 years ago. Do not. Well, we'll price it here, and they'll come in and they won't. They just won't.
Some room to negotiate.
Yeah. Oh, we'll start here, but they'll come. No, they won't. Trust me. With 50,000 homes on the market, they're going to They're going to look at your house and go, screw that. I'm going to the next one. We've got 49,999 to go look at now. So if you don't price it right, they won't negotiate. They just won't even look at your house. They'll go to the next one. Because that's the market we're in. So you really have to price it. And I saw one article that said price it a little bit. Let me stop the screen share. Stop it or price it below market value, like a little bit. Maybe you might get a bidding war. Maybe you might get a lot of interest, and then you have a highest and best situation, and you might be able to net a little bit more money out of it.
Yep. I think that's a great strategy because you've got to be able to compete. And with not a whole ton of buyers, the last thing you want to do is have a buyer skip your house because it was priced too high and then go buy another house.
Yeah. And they will. And because I've been asking people, and some people asked it actually was on one property I had a while back, and we ended up adjusting the price, but I asked them, why did they, you just curious, you scheduled it. And then they go, yeah, they didn't want to deal with them. They didn't want to sit there and haggle. That's what they said.
Yep.
They said it was priced too high compared to other houses we saw that were similar. And so they just didn't even want to waste their time. I mean, people's time is money, and buyers do have burnout from what happened to the past 4 years. So they didn't. I'm
not sure if you're seeing this too, but buyers don't want to do work. So, you got some ugly paint on your wall.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't want to deal with that one. I was going to go buy this other house that's it's gray or tan or white.
That's I had a friend call the other day and he asked, "Do you think it would be worth it if we have this house and it's been a rental property, putting a little money into it and taking the den and converting it to a fourth bedroom?" I said, absolutely. The area that you're talking about is desirable for people out there with that want 4 bedrooms, and so having that fourth bedroom instead of the den could be great, and doing it the right way, where it's got to have a closet and a window, right? Make it illegal for the building code here in Palm Beach County. make it a fourth bedroom, and then doing a little upgrades on it. But I said, but don't overdo it. Don't because you might not get some of that back in this market. But do some things that are desirable. Having a fourth bedroom is always great for a guest, or it could be used as a den and the closet for storage. But without the closet, it's just a room, right? And you can't call it a bedroom. So and there is definitely appraisers look at that, the value of what a bedroom is versus a den. So
for sure.
So he was telling me to touch his house up a little bit before trying to get on the market before continuing to keep renting it and all that. So I mean, if you're gonna make your house, make it presentable, do some touch ups to it. In this market, you're competing with so many more homes. You really have to have your home stand out. So you need to put your best foot forward. And if you can't afford to do like a major renovation, I understand that, but you can afford probably a can of paint, and you could touch up the front door, right?
Yep.
Add a splash of color. Do your borders around the house, right? You get down there and try to touch up a little bit your baseboards and whatnot. The best you can, a little white paint or whatever, touch up stuff like that. There's things you can do, to mulch and things, and just make your house look a little nicer so it stands out. So then when the people do see it online, it's like, oh wow, I want to go see this house, and clean. Make sure you clean.
Yeah,
Don't ever put a house of dirty. Don't ever let your photographer take photos when your house is not clean.
No, we're telling our sellers to spend the money and have it professionally cleaned. I don't care how good of a cleaner you are. Spend the money; it's worth it. And and paint. Now is a good time to paint, because the last thing you want is a buyer. The very few buyers that are out there to come in and be like, "Oh, I got to paint the walls."
Yeah. Those things will definitely help. And making that first appearance, right? Especially now, because now more than ever, as I said, because when you got so much inventory to look at, if you come in and if they get turned off and walk in and go, ugh, and they walk out, that's it. That was your shot.
Yep.
And in that first 2 weeks, it's super important to, people come in and looking at the property. So, all right. So we talked about that. So here's one interesting story. So speaking of buying homes, let me go to my share.
And real quick, if we go back to a list price to sell price, one of the things that I don't love about this area that we're in, our multiple listing service counts the list price to sell price from the last list price, which I really cannot stand, because that is not a fair analysis. Meaning if I originally listed the house at $1 million and it didn't sell, and I dropped it to 950 and then to 9 and then to 8, and then it eventually sells for 750, they go, oh, last price was 850 or 8, and it sold for 750. So that's a list price to sell price of whatever, 95%, when theoretically it's 85% because you listed it at $1 million.
That's interesting. Funny enough, I remembered. I'm sorry, I was looking for something. I did this earlier. You know how you can go on your why is it doing this? You know how you can go on your community page? Sorry, I'm trying to pull up a picture and it's acting really stupid. My phone's acting really dumb, and I'm trying to just get it to pull up a picture. On the community page on YouTube, you can go ask questions. Yep. I've been doing a lot of that lately, where I've been trying to engage with my audience, and I did ask the question about the housing market, and I said, are you finding more homes available to purchase in your market? In Wednesday's live stream, we're going to talk about 75 major markets. And I said, so we're going to talk about 75 markets. And I asked the question, are there more homes in your area than not? And I had the answers were yes, a plethora of homes. No, it's barren wasteland of options. Huh. And so y'all voted, and I appreciate you guys voting, because 88% of them said yes, a plethora of homes. So wherever my audience is, reading and seeing that question, those people watch that, only 13% said no, it's a barren wasteland of options. So which those people are probably in the Northeast, and they don't have very many homes to choose. But yeah, 88% of people said there's a ton of homes wherever there are. So
interesting.
So I mean, that's from them, not just your realtor here telling you. But all right, so I thought this was an interesting thing. So I know prices are coming down, but then we see stuff like this, and I'm going, what? It says there are 7 major metros where you can still buy a luxury home for less than $1 million. 5 years ago, there were 30.
What do they consider luxury?
I guess they're saying anything. I don't know. Let's see. That's a great question. I saw this, and I last minute added this. The number of major metros where you can buy a luxury home for less than $1 million has shrunk from 30 to 7. Detroit is the most affordable metro for luxury homes with a median price of $753,851.
Wow.
44.1% less than the typical luxury home nationwide. No surprise here, folks. San Francisco is the most expensive. I just can't even fathom that this is how people live there. The most expensive with the median price above $6 million. I mean, is everyone out there a tech baby? Like, are they all?
For sure. I lived in the Bay Area for 5 years. There is a tremendous amount of wealth.
I mean, is everyone out there like inventing an app that's making hundreds of millions of dollars? I mean, my God.
Yes, because everyone else has been priced out.
So, but look here. West Palm Beach has recorded the biggest luxury home price growth over the past decade.
Wow.
Plus 207%, while New York has recorded the smallest, 33. So I'll tell you, where I was driving around today, guys, the video that I was out doing today, I was up around Northwood and north of West Palm Beach, and this is an old historic neighborhood, and there's so much money coming down here. So much of the Polson Capital's opening up an office down here. You've got Goldman Sachs who opened up an office here. You've got so many companies here. Bessemer Trust has opened up a new office, although they had an office in Palm Beach. But like, there's just so many money people, the money crowd. Yeah. The bankers are coming to West Palm Beach, and these home prices. There's a house that I looked at that was in 2019. I was doing a video just south of where I was today. A lot of these areas in West Palm have great historic neighborhoods. So I like walking or biking there when I do my outside videos. I looked at this one house, and in 2019, this house is original. It's a 1950s house, really cute, really nice. But literally, you walk out the doorstep, and you walk half a block, and you're at the Intercoastal. Wow. In 2019, the house was $250,000, somewhere like $257,000. I went and looked at what it was to like 3 months ago, 1.9 million.
Wow.
No, doesn't look like the outside was probably the same. The outside didn't look like they did anything to it. It didn't have any major expansions to it. I don't know what the inside looked like, but yeah, 1.9 million. That's so let's see if we can find our answer. The typical luxury home costs less than 1 million in 7 of the 50 most populous metros, 30 metros. So the most affordable metro for buying a high-end property is Detroit. And so, okay. All right. So this just kind of shows you home prices sold for. It doesn't really say. I don't know. Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know
because I went and looked as soon as you sent me that article. I was like, oh, let me see what can I buy for under $1 million? And of course, there was a ton of them. So I was like, okay, I have to have some parameter. So I did, can I buy a new home for $1 million, under $1 million? And of course, you can, but
yeah,
it's so vague.
So San Antonio, the median luxury home sales price is $957,000, and then it just kind of shows you median sales like it was 500. And that's weird. I grew up there, so it's crazy to see that's the median price of the luxury. Yeah. But so I was hoping to say something down here, but I guess not. The typical luxury home in San Francisco sold for $6,092,801 in April, making it the most expensive of the top 50 metros. In fact, the typical cost of a San Francisco starter home, 5th to 35th percentile in price, was $972,825. More expensive than a luxury home in the 7 most affordable metros we listed.
Yeah, well, that's also supply and demand too. I mean, I lived in San Francisco for many years. It's tiny. It's 7 by 7.
Yeah,
like 7 miles by 7 miles. So there's not. I don't know what the number is. I don't know how many homes there are, but it's not really a lot.
I mean, think of that. That's your starter home. You get done. Hey, graduate college, girlfriend. Hey, whatever, get married. Hey, we got to spend just shy of $1 million for our house to start our home, and it's probably a 2-1.
Yep.
With nothing. West Palm recorded the most growth over the past decade, with the price of a medium luxury home jumping. This was crazy. Look at this. West Palm jumped from $1,343,000 to $4,132,000. Just unbelievable jump in price there. But I've seen it. It's a lot of homes down here with high price tags, and I just crazy how many people, and they buy them. I mean, some of them are selling. I don't know if there's West Palm right there. Yeah. So
207% increase.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's just nutty, man. And that, I mean, I remember when I started for 275. I remember starting in 2013, and I remember going and looking at homes. Even after that, even much after that, more like 2015, you could go and find a 3-bedroom house with a pool for like 275,000
Wow.
in like Lake Worth, Boynton Beach area where I'm at. Yeah, not too much. I think maybe 280,000. You can't even find it for 500 now. I mean, if it is, it
Yeah.
needs a ton of work. So hopefully that's what needs to happen. Those prices need to come down. Some along the interest rates really need to drop, which I don't know if we're ever going to see it, but the home prices need to be more affordable.
Interest rates, I think we're in the 6s at least through this year. That's my guess.
Yeah.
And the prices, I mean, I don't know here. I mean, prices are down about 14%.
Yeah.
And they're still coming down. So, Mike, is it going to be 20% by the end of the year? It's totally possible.
Let's see. Let me stop this. So, I was going to ask you something. I'm trying to. I was listening to you, and I was like thinking ahead, and I was going to ask you something. And I just totally slipped my mind. So, old age, folks. Old age. Welcome to getting old guy. So, what about y'all in the audience? Y'all have any questions out there? I know y'all been pretty quiet through this. And by the way, thank y'all so much for hanging on and watching and listening. Hope I bring these videos to you to bring some value to about what's going on in the real estate market. Some of the stuff you can obviously find yourself, right? National news, and some of the stuff you guys may not pay attention to is you don't think about real estate every day. We do because we're realtors, so we're always curious to see what's going on. But if you have any questions, you want to leave any questions about where you live in the world, where you're watching from. That's something I asked everyone earlier to check in. If you guys want to check in where you're from, but maybe how's the market in your area and what do you see going there? So you guys want to pop a question over there. And if you want to reach out to me, don't be shy to ask a question. If you want to get my contact information. By the way, Adam, what's your YouTube channel for them? Tell them what your
my main YouTube channel is actually 941 Lifestyle Group.
941, and that's the area code out there.
Area code 941 Lifestyle Group, and then I have 941 Premier Home Tours.
Oh, cool! You're doing home tours.
Yeah,
nice.
Separate channel for that one. Yeah.
All right, very cool. So if you want to check out Adam's,
I'm about 10 YouTube channels I started.
Oh man, I have one. So I can keep up with my one channel. So what are you working on? What are you doing? Like, so we both make YouTube videos today. I talk a lot about condos. What are you talking about? What are some hot topics that you're making over there on the West Coast that maybe you think people are interested in looking at?
Yeah, interesting. So what I've been attempting to do is take, generally speaking, national stories with real estate, and then kind of drill down how they're affecting Florida, and then try to drill down and how those are impacting the local market, Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch. And that seems to do pretty well, right? Because the national headlines, you're seeing that no matter where you live in the country. Right. So if you're watching and you live in Wisconsin, and you're like, wow, I'm seeing that in my area too. And then you're like, well, let me see what it's like in Lakewood Ranch. So I do just exactly what we did today, right? You talk about these national topics and then bring them down to the state and then bring them down to our area.
Yeah, I saw an article and I was going to try to bring it in. It was talking about the tariffs and how's the tariffs affecting the real estate market. And it was talking about how have the tariffs maybe affected individual areas or your state or your area, if they've seen, because of tariffs, has it affected the real estate market? And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they've affected, buyers maybe because they own a company and they're not as profitable as they might have been. I don't know. I don't know if it's affected them in that way where maybe they were going to buy, but they're realizing, looking at the tariffs, at what's going to cost them, and maybe they're not going to make as much as they thought they're going to make. So maybe they're like, yeah, we're going to have to hold off on a house. I don't know. I haven't seen enough data, and I honestly haven't looked into it enough to know if that's even happening.
My personal opinion is that it is just more uncertainty than anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like when people feel uncertain, this has nothing to do with Florida. This, generally speaking, about anything,
right?
They hold off. Right. I'm not going to renovate my house. I'm not going to buy a car. I'm not going to buy the RV. I'm not going to, I'm not going to go on vacation because I just don't know. And so that, on top of high interest rates and in Florida specifically, insurance and special assessments, all of that combined, is definitely having the impact that we see.
I think a lot. I heard this today from one of my workers. Is also there's a lot going on in the world. So with what's going on in the Middle East and with Israel and all that. And we're not going to get to a political show or anything like that. But I mean, people are concerned. I mean,
Yeah.
People are worried about, are we getting dragged into a war? And if there was a war. And so when they have stuff like that, when there's things like that going on, they lose focus of maybe buying a house, and maybe they're not as interested. Yeah. So, and especially if they have anyone that's in the military, then they start thinking, well, we're not going to buy because my husband or wife might be being shipped off, somewhere. So I know there's a lot of that going on. I try to look at all the different things. I try to stay abreast of what's going on in the world for real estate and how it affects us. I mean, I know it's been a really hard year for us. I love the audience and they support me through my YouTube channels and stuff. But I mean, the real estate has been really slow this year. So I'm not going to quit. I mean, some do. This is what I do full time. So I keep doing what I have to keep making the business. And I've been fortunate. I got a listing appointment on Tuesday, and nice. I got another listing going on the market tomorrow. Even though they're condos, it's still product, and somebody may be interested in them. So I'm staying fairly consistent and working hard, but that's just my nature.
Same here. I actually started 2 side hustles, and my wife's looking into maybe doing some transaction coordinator work, because she's obviously been doing that for me for a long time.
My wife just did. She just got a little extra something herself too. So look, you can't quit. I mean, you just got to keep. You can whatever you do what you have to. I know myself.
Yeah,
I know that I want to stay comfortable, and I don't want to. I still want to be able to do certain things, and so I'm just
living in a van down by the river.
Yeah. I've often thought about it though.
Yeah, of course. Believe me.
Just put a keg in there, and I'll live in my van down by the river. I'll be happy. So, but we just keep plugging away. That's all we can do with it. So, well, cool, man. Well, listen, this has been fun. We made it to 57 minutes.
Yay.
Any last words you want to share? Anything you want to say before we head out for the evening?
I mean, go check out Lakewood Ranch. It is the #1 multi-generational planned community. It really is an anomaly. I know the market is kind of slowing down and crashing here, but I've really never seen anything like it anywhere in the country. Like I said, 45 different neighborhoods. You can find townhomes, villas, single family homes at $200,000, $7 million, and everything in between. That's
pretty cool.
It's pretty spectacular. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And if your guys are looking, he's on, and it's funny because we should have been like East Coast, West Coast.
East Coast, West Coast. Yeah.
So I've seen it over on our neck of the woods over here. We are, like I said, we're seeing some new construction. I did see some emails. I just haven't looked into it, but maybe I'll make a video about it. Price drops, lots of incentives. We are seeing homes. Again, there's a lot of homes out there, a lot of inventory. If you're looking to buy a condo, give me a call. I can walk you guys through it. There's a lot of stuff I can help you with. And I'm talking about like the assessment and understanding the assessment and things you need to be aware of, especially with the new laws that came out. So I can definitely help you with that if you're someone that's looking to get a condo and might want to take advantage of a good deal. But I've got a lot of experience with the condo side. And then on single family side, there are some good homes, and there's some prices out there that are dropping and incentives. So yeah, if you guys are looking to move to the West Coast, I can put you in touch with Adam, and if you need to get in touch with me here on the East Coast, happy to help you guys out. And it's still a cool place. Florida's still great. I get all the comments. I know you do too, Adam. We get all the comments about Florida's this, that, but
Florida's over, man. They're all leaving. Everyone's leaving. They're all gone.
Funny fact. Someone said that on a post somewhere, and I said, yeah, that's right. We had out of the so many thousand that left Florida, this many moved in, which made it a plus of 180,000. So yes, no, we didn't lose. We gained 180,000. It wasn't as many as we gained before, but we still gained more than we lost. So, and by 2030, they really expect Florida to be crowded, which I'm not bragging about. I'm not happy. Local people, don't hate me. I'm just telling you what the news says.
Yeah,
it's going to be, but Florida's still a beautiful place. I love showing it to them. I'm so excited about the video I'm going to be working on this next week. We're going up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, the history of the town. It's a cool town. We're featuring a resort. You guys are going to love my video that next week I'm going on vacation. So I won't be here Wednesday. There'll be no live stream, but it's because I'm going somewhere cool with my wife, and YouTube is opening some doors for me. I was on the news. I got featured on the news last night. Well, I didn't get featured.
Awesome.
I got asked for, the guy called and said, "We want to be on the news. we'd love your opinion about the condo buyouts. I said, sure. So, so my experience of making videos and all that's, I guess, getting the attention of the news media. And that's
Very
twice
cool.
in the past 3 months I was on the news. So
Nice.
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that is
So,
very cool.
yeah, but Florida's cool. I know you lived in beautiful Hawaii, but you've also been from Florida. I know that's where you're from.
I
Or
moved
one
from,
time.
from Florida to Maui, back to Florida.
Yeah.
Back
Talk
to
about
Maui, back to
talk
Florida.
about expensive, huh? Maui.
Talk about expensive, yeah. Actually, I just did a video just the other day talking about comparing Maui to Florida.
Good God, I can't even imagine.
You think there's going to be some people with some opinions on that one? I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So cool, brother. Well, thanks for coming
Thanks for
on.
having me on. Appreciate it.
Sign you out real quick and say goodbye to everyone. But Adam, thanks for coming. I certainly appreciate it. All my best to your family there. Enjoy your drink. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
And I'll talk to you a little bit later.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, man. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Hope you like these live streams. I'm still new at it, so bear with me. I'm trying to find the right stuff to share with you guys. There's a community page on my YouTube channel. You guys are allowed to go there and leave a comment and post. And if you guys give me some suggestions about what you want me to talk about in these videos, I'm happy to do it, because yes, I still make my videos and I go out and shoot like I did today. But the live streams where I get to interact with y'all. And I'm sorry, so we got some new local listings here in Maryland, but very slow. Yeah. And then Gene, I can't do political stuff, man. I'm sorry, dude. I can't. So I called your name out just to give you that, Gene, but I can't do that. It's just, it ends up, you know how it is. So, yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Keep tuning in. Like, my goal is to just inform you about what's going on in this market. I know some of you guys want to move to Florida. Some of you don't. I get that. Those that do, I'm happy to help you. And when the time's right, let's see if we can find you a great place. It's still a beautiful place to live. Lots of palm trees. Where I was at today, you guys would have been like, wow, this is absolutely gorgeous. So it's really cool. It always blows my mind when I drive down a street I've never been before and see a house and just like, wow, I can't believe this is here. So really nice. So, all right. I hope everyone had a great Father's Day. Have a good week, whatever you're going into. Go, hey, if you're a Panthers fan, go Panthers. And lots of cool stuff happening. And wherever you are in the world, get out and enjoy paradise. And I'll see you Sunday at 10 a.m. bright and early with a new video. And then I'm off on vacation making a super cool video for you. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.